Hey sports fans, are you in the market for Florida sports or just keeping up with the latest in the Panhandle? Palm Tree Sports is a dedicated audio hub to all things sports in the Sunshine State. We cover current events, big news, heavily favored opinions all across the NFL, NBA, MLB, and so much more. So come check us out every Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For a down south education on Florida sports and athletics, it's hosted by yours truly, Corey Pujols, and is powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Hello, everybody, and good afternoon. Happy Saturday. Welcome to another installment of Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols. I am your host, and as always, it is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, guys. I am glad to be back to you guys this weekend. Episode 51, got a few things to talk about here. This show will be a little bit shorter than what we're accustomed to, guys. Of course, the Rays being knocked out of the MLB playoffs is going to be a big part of that. And obviously, with the NBA season still getting into the swing of things, our teams aren't performing the best that they could be, but we're going to give them some time because that's what the preseason is for, right, baby? So, in other news, we have a ton of NFL stuff to talk about. More specifically, we're going to talk about what's going on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and why they seem to be the odd team out of Florida. And matter of fact, let's get started right there, guys. So as you guys would imagine right now, Tampa Bay isn't performing as well as Miami or Jacksonville at the moment. Why? Well, our team doesn't have the continuity that either of those two teams have, and as a result, it's showing itself. Well, we have a chance to get back into the winning column. This coming up Sunday, we will be hosting the Falcons, who will be arriving in a 3-3 record here to Tampa Bay. This game is a home game, of course, and it's going to take place tomorrow at 1 p.m. So it's going to be early afternoon, lunchtime game. If you're looking for one of the games to watch early on, this is going to be one of them. This actually, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be the only one because the Jags will be playing on October 29th. So they have bye week this week. Well, not bye week, but essentially is like a bye week, right? Because they played on Thursday, so they don't have to play on Sunday. And they're going to get all that time to rest and, get ready for that game. Whereas Tampa Bay played last Sunday or maybe they didn't play last Sunday. Well, you be the judge for yourself. We played the Lions last week. We lost a 20-6 ball game. And, for the life of me, it's been nerve-wracking. Watching the game was very frustrating. It was definitely nerve-wracking and one of those games where we expected Tampa to come out and play a little bit better than what they did, but they just didn't. What a waste last week was. It was our throwback to the creamsicle jersey, and I really just feel like it was a terrible outing for a home performance, let alone the way the team performed as a whole. Where do I begin, guys? Offensively, we're just a circus, and one day the circus can be really good, and the next day the circus can be really bad. One day everybody can hit their moves and walk the tightrope. One day everybody falls off the rope, can't control the animals, whatever have you. And that's the reason why I use the term circus, not because we're clowns. We're not clowns. But we've got a lot of moving pieces that when they work together, they work well. And when they don't work together, well, they don't work well at all. It's very high and low with the peaks and valleys of this offensive woes version of Tampa Bay that we're experiencing in comparison to the team it had been when Tom Brady was here. Obviously, Tom Brady's gone, and I don't mean to compare the team from then till now. It's just something to note of, whereas, last year it was just us not being able to overcome better teams. Now we're just shooting ourselves in the foot, right? Obviously there's not a lot of continuity on this team, as I mentioned before. A lot of new starters, a lot of old starters, but still yet a lot of new starters with this team. And once everybody settles into their role, I imagine that success will creep its way into Tampa Bay's locker room and probably stay for a long period of time. But right now we're having a really tough time beating good teams, and it's just a little discerning because the Lions, they're not the best team in the NFL. I mean, they're one of the best teams. There's no doubt about that right now. But they are not the best team. And that means that there's a lot more room for improvement than what we thought there was. 20-6 fashion shows that the offense didn't show, but it also shows that the defense did. I've always said, guys, in order to win a football game, you got to score more than 20 and keep a team from scoring more than 20, right? Well, They scored 20 points, which is not that bad. It's not 30, it's not 40, it's nothing of that sort, and it also just shows what could have happened perhaps if the offense had been able to hold on to the football and do something well with it, because that was really a big part of the issue with Tampa Bay was doing stuff on offense, controlling the time of possession, which they weren't able to do. So, you're going to lose those games naturally, and obviously I just feel that the Lions have a great ball club. However, Tampa Bay did not play to their fullest potential, and when we don't play to our full potential like that, we're dead people walking. We're dead men walking, if you will. And that was what took place last week against the Lions. This week against the Falcons, we have a chance to right the ship. I believe we're going to be able to do that, but I believe we're going to have our best rushing performance of the year. Okay, that's what's going to happen Sunday. When I think about what's going to happen Sunday, I think it's going to have to be a big deal if Tampa Bay is able to do something like that, because that's who our identity is supposed to be as a rushing team, utilizing play action to send guys deep and get open on one-on-ones. The problem is with that is we haven't been able to run the football all year long. All right, so I say that's what changes. I say that the loss to the Lions was a wake-up call to just how one-dimensional this team is and what happens when the team is one-dimensional without the ability to run the football. This is the result that we're going to get. It's the same result that we got when we played against the Eagles as well. So guys, just take that in consideration. Definitely an early must-win for the Bucs, but if they can, they'll be able to stay the course to win this division, which will give them two division wins, in NFC South, which is going to be a big deal, especially as we head into the middle part of the season. Now, my apologies, guys. That's what's going on with Tampa Bay. The next game Tampa Bay is going to play is going to be obviously against the Bills. That game is going to be Thursday Night Football. I don't know how I feel about this game. The Bills are a good football team. They've been a good football team ever since they got Josh Allen. And it's going to be Thursday night. Tampa doesn't seem to play well, I don't know, at any time whenever the lights are on. And what I mean by that is Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. I don't know what our overall record is, but let me tell you, it's not great. It's not great, guys. We do not play well when it's not on a Sunday. So, not during the daytime. So, I hope that Tampa Bay is going to, come to play against Buffalo. They're going to need to. Buffalo, again, rocking a 4-2 record. This team is pretty solid. And like I said, they've been solid ever since they got Josh Allen. I look forward to the game, but I really hope that this game against the Falcons gives us a chance to build off of something that we can find success in. And I really hope that's running the football, because that's what we can't seem to do. And if we could seem to do it, I really feel like we'd win more games. It's very simple in that regard when it comes to Tampa Bay. Go Bucs. We look forward to seeing what happens Sunday against the Falcons. Now, let's go and talk about the Jags. Now, this is a team that isn't letting Florida down, okay? Now, I use the term letting Florida down simply because, obviously, Tampa Bay is not playing well right now. And when I say that they're not playing well, I mean specifically last Sunday, their performance was terrible, okay? The Jaguars, on the other hand, have had a stupendous run of 4 games in a row where they're just flat out balling. They're just beating the other team. And it doesn't really seem to matter what other team there is out there. This recent win came in the form of a 31-24 victory over the Saints on Thursday Night Football, which is a well accepted gift, if you will, as a Tampa Bay fan. So we say thank you guys, Jags, for beating our division rivals in the Saints. We don't like the Saints. We hate the Saints. Hope the Saints lose every game this season. Well, the rest of the season. But you get what I'm saying. With that in mind, I really think that the Jaguars are starting to live up to that potential that they had that we talked about at the beginning of the season, guys. You remember when I said this team has a lot of continuity, they're very young, they're very tenacious. If they can run the ball and lean on that play action fake, if their offensive line and defensive lines perform well, this team will be in tops in the NFL. And would you look at what's going on right now? Everything I said is exactly what's taking place. They're utilizing the run so effectively that Trevor Lawrence on play action fake is absolutely disgusting right now. And the defense is doing what the defense does, and that's, keep teams from scoring what their offense is scoring. And that's what you got to do to win games. So, Jags playing really good football right now, 4-0 in the last 4 games. I look forward to seeing what happens as this team inches closer and closer to the Kansas Cities and the Eagles and that area of echelon where we're looking at and we're saying, this team is not going to be an easy game. The Ravens and all those, just all those teams that you think, when you have to go play this team is not an easy team to beat. The Jaguars are quietly but quickly growing into that form, and it's something that I'm definitely here to live for. I'm very excited for them. It's been a long time since Jacksonville's been good. When I mean good, I mean like legitimately good, not just like have a great running back and offensive line and they run their way to the AFC Championship game. Not like that good, like actual good, like Mark Burnell good. You guys remember him? Anyhow, next game for the Jaguars is going to be against the Steelers. That game is going to take place Sunday, October 29th, 1 p.m. So as I mentioned before earlier in the show, this week, I should say, the Jags will not be playing football on Sunday. They play Thursday, so they get a little extra time to rest up before they go see the Steelers. The Steelers not playing the best of football right now, okay? So I fully expect the Jaguars to move to 6-2 with a thumping on them. Similar to the thumping that they put on the Saints, I'd say maybe even a little bit less that they allow on the defensive side of the ball. Wouldn't be surprised if this game was scored at a 31-17 affair. Jags way, of course. So go Duval, stand up, baby. Just really love what you guys are doing out there in Jacksonville. For those of you who weren't sure about the record, they're 5-2 atop the AFC South, but their second victory over the Colts. So, just congratulations all the way around. Love to see what the Jags are doing. Yep, sorry, Mikey. Go Jags all day. Love you, cousin, but go Jags, baby. Like I said, Duval, stand up, guys. Now then, that's what's going on with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's go further down south to the Miami Dolphins. And, Miami, what we talked about, top 5 offense in the league, and they look like it, right? Like, Tyreek Hill is just unguardable, okay? Well, unless Tampa Bay guards him. But that's neither here nor there. Tyreek Hill has just been completely unguardable. He's just been destroying the wide receiver room in the NFL. The elites of the elites are looking at Tyreek and saying, "What are you doing? This is outrageous." Tua Tagovailoa is looking like Tua Tagovailoa from Alabama. Just going to win every game he plays, or at least stay in every game he plays, and gives himself a chance to win, whether it's via blowout or just by consistently scoring, right? Like, whatever the case may be. And it's very impressive to see what he's doing out of Alabama as well, because, let's just be honest, right? Alabama hasn't been the same since Tua left, and perhaps we're starting to see why. Tua's gift for football is incredible, and I just look forward to seeing what he's able to do in the later part of the season, right? Because we're still in the early part of the season where everything is brand new for a lot of teams. A lot of teams still don't understand, 100% of the formations that they're going to go against the week before, the week after, and when the studying becomes a lot easier once you get to that middle part of the season, right? Because you're just pulling up all the successful stuff that they do, because you realize, okay, look, these guys are not really going to go back and revert to certain things, not as consistently as they do in college football, right? So in the NFL, when they find success with plays, these plays becomes when they get circled. They get, stars attached to them, asterisks, whatever it is that you want to put, all right? Exclamation point, question mark, I don't care. These coaches are looking at the plays that they find success in and they're jotting those things down. So as you get further on into the season, you see these plays more consistently. That's where the Dolphins are going to start to have their problem, I think. But this week, not going to be a problem. Or I should say, this past week wasn't a problem. They beat the Panthers by a score of 42-21. Tallying was at the third, reaching 40 or more this season. Absolutely discussing what this offense is doing. But then again, the Panthers 0-6, not playing good football. Very young team. And I'm going to be honest with you, as a division foe, I'm happy that they lost as well. But more importantly than that, when they got rid of C-Mac, we knew this team was dead in the water. Then they got rid of, DJ Moore? DJ Moore, and we see what he's doing out there in Chicago. So, hey, Panthers, you guys are just young and rebuilding, but I pray that you guys are young and rebuilding forever, because, well, we don't like y'all either. Anyhow, that's neither here or there. Fins are arriving on a 5-1 record right now. Like I said, 5-1, 5-2, the best standings here in Florida. Buccaneers have a 3-2 record. Should be a 4-1 record, but, I mean, hey, we just got to play better football, guys. That's what it comes down to, and we can look to the Jaguars, look to Miami for some ways to find and discover some success. I think that's just really what it comes down to, but regardless of, how they perform, the Jags and the Fins performing extremely well right now, tops of their divisions. And what is actually interesting that all three teams are top of their division, right? Buccaneers are top at NFC South, Jags, AFC South, Fins, AFC East. So keep going, Fins. Keep doing what you're doing, guys. Real proud of you and can't wait to see the next game. It's going to be against the Eagles. That's tomorrow night at 8:20. So Sunday Night Football, guys. If you guys are looking for it, that's going to be the game to watch for sure. High scoring affair, possibly. Wouldn't be surprised if the Fins hand the Eagles their second loss on the season, guys. So get ready for that, just in case. You don't know what to expect or whatever the case may be, guys. It's going to be a great game. But like I said, I'm looking for the Dolphins to hand the Eagles their second loss. So go Fins. And we'll see. We'll see though. We'll see because I'm also thinking, Eagles didn't get here on accident, right? So could be a low scoring game, could be a high scoring game. I don't know. I really don't know, guys. However, that's what's going on right now in the NFL here in Florida, guys. Let's go ahead and get to our first break of the evening. When we get back, we'll talk everything NCAA. Well, mostly, there wasn't any Gator football today, so that sucks. That's kind of depressing. But aside from that, we'll talk about the Noles and we'll talk about the Canes for sure. We got a little MLB, oh my bad, not MLB, NBA, MLB season's done with already, and NHL hockey, and then we'll wrap it up with what happened here at UFC 294. I'll go over that for a quick split. Keep it locked here at Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, this is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up? It's your man Bishop, the voice of This Is KC Sports, the show where we go over the Chiefs, the Royals, KC Current, Sporting KC, MU, and oh yeah, if we got time, we'll even throw in some of that KU stuff from my people on the 913 South. Come and hang out with us every Sunday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, and welcome back to Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, guys. So, as I mentioned before the break, we're going to get back. We're going to talk a little college football, right, guys? So, as I mentioned before, Gators not playing any football. Played last week against South Carolina. Won a dramatic game. Ricky Parcell goes 10 catches, 166, and a touchdown. The game-clinching touchdown at that, or the go-ahead touchdown to be more specifically, as we were actually down in that game. So, congratulations, Gators. What a wonderful game you guys played last week. Defense, a little shaky. You guys going to have to pull that together, but offense, way to play. Graham Mertz looked absolutely phenomenal last week. Hopefully he could do that again, but let's just try to clean up those third down conversions and not have to get it to fourth, because, guys, if y'all didn't watch that game, 3 fourth down conversions what lifted us to victory there. In the meantime, let's talk about the Noles and what they got going on, right? So the Noles are playing Duke tonight, right? That game is going to take place at prime time, so 7:30 kickoff time. Pretty late game for Florida State, but nothing that they're not used to, of course, especially from the time that Jameis was here. They found themselves back in the spotlight a lot more consistently. This is no different from that time all those years ago. The Noles arriving in a 6-0 unbeaten streak, playing really good football right now in South Florida, guys. Congratulations on the way things have been going for you guys. But the Duke Blue Devils, I think, is what they're called, right? That's their mascot or whatever, guys. Duke is arriving at 5-1. Great record in the ACC as well, also ranked 16th. So this is going to be a ranked matchup with inside the top 20. Definitely going to be a great game. A lot of people looking for Duke to upset Florida State. We'll have to see. Going to come down to time of possession. Florida State hasn't been explosive as they have been in recent years, but they still possess a lot of great ball character and a lot of athletes around the ball more specifically, especially starting at quarterback with Jordan Travis. Look forward to seeing what this game takes place, a classic red versus blue rivalry being renewed here in the ACC, guys. Going to be a great game. As I said, that game's going to play tonight at 7:30. I'll definitely be bouncing back and forth myself to check out that game. But there's another game tonight, which is also that Miami game. We'll talk about that in a second. Florida State's next game is going to be against Wake Forest. Now it's going to be a gimme. Wake Forest isn't playing good football at all. They're 3-3 right now. They're absolutely, in the middle of the pack when it comes to ACC, but they're 0-3 inside their own conference. So when you're 0-3 inside the own conference and you're getting ready to go see Florida State, it looks like you're going to be 0-4 come the end of next week in your own conference. So like I said, 3-3 record for Wake Forest, but nothing to boast home about. As like I said, 0-3 in the conference. Florida State leading that conference in ACC. Meanwhile, also in the ACC, Miami is going to be playing Clemson tonight. That game is another primetime game, kickoff at 8 o'clock p.m. In case you're looking to watch that game, both of these teams arrive in a 4-2 record. However, Clemson probably looking like they're going to have an edge to win this game. Miami, 2 devastating losses back-to-back after starting the season 4-0. Definitely the most bonehead defeat I've ever seen in college football. I mean, come on, man. Yes, 2 weeks later, we're still talking about this. I was at community service earlier this morning, and we were talking about this still. Just kneel the ball, guys. When you're up 3 and you can run the clock out, kneel the ball, okay? I don't know what you turn around handing the ball off for what, okay? Bonehead move. Bonehead move of the century, all right? And you still got about 7 more years in this century, so I'm sure there'll be more bonehead moves. But you get what I'm saying. Just absolutely ridiculous. So that's what's going on with the Canes. Like I said, tonight, 8 p.m., Clemson. Going to be a good game. In theory, I'm looking for Clemson to win the game. I like Clemson more than I like Miami. Sorry, Canes. But nonetheless, the Canes, terrific defense. All right, so if they play good defensive ball, this could be a low-scoring game. They find themselves winning a field goal game. All of a sudden, that Georgia Tech game kind of fades into the past, especially beating a Dabo Swinney-led Clemson team. I've always said Dabo Swinney, great coach. He doesn't have all the talent right now, but he's still a great coach. Next game for Miami after Clemson is going to be Virginia. That's going to take place at Saturday, October 28th. Time to be determined, guys. I'm pretty sure the time's being determined because they're just going to look at whatever slot's going to be open and put it there. Virginia's a 1-5 record inside the ACC, or inside the college football rankings. They're 1-5. However, in the ACC, they're dead last. So this team not playing really good football at the moment. Obviously, Miami should be able to pick up a win here, and if they're able to do that, I see that their confidence possibly be renewed. I don't know how to feel about Miami. This was the same issue we had last year with them. Win a couple of games, look a specific way, have an identity check, and fail it, right? So I don't know what to expect from Miami moving forward. I just hope they're able to write this process that's been a 2-game losing streak. And in college football, you guys know momentum is everything. So when the momentum is against you and you're not playing well, like Miami, it's going to leave a lot of air for uncertainty, especially losing in the fashion they did, okay? I was trying to find the right words to say, but just when you think about it, like I said, losing in the fashion is usually a backbreaker, okay? You saw players, they were completely emotional, couldn't believe what they were going on. And then, yeah, as you mentioned, that it's very, very tough schedule still to play. They have to go see Florida State. They've got Clemson, of course, so those 2 games are going to be 2 shakies right there, and a lot more that they're going to have to prove. I think they also have to see Duke, and they have to see North Carolina, okay? So just take that into consideration, guys. That could be 4 more losses on that record. You know what that means. If you add 4 to 2, they're going to be sitting 6-6. They'll be ball eligible, but it won't be a good ball, and it's not going to look good moving forward, especially for incoming recruits, guys. Just something to keep in mind when it comes down to what's going on there, guys. Now, that's what's going on, like I said, in college football. Of course, the Gators next game will be against Georgia, so no need to really talk about that. That'll be next week. We'll get deeper into that game once we get closer to. So, in the meantime, though, let's go ahead and talk about the NBA real quick, okay, guys? So, in the NBA right now, still in the preseason basketball, still a lot going on, but as the teams start to take shape, it's starting to look like teams are putting their records together that are going to reflect their regular season records here in the preseason, okay? What does that mean, Corey? Well, I'm going to tell you. Basically, I'm a huge believer in whatever you do well in preseason is what you're going to do well in the regular season, right? Like the preseason, people think is for trying things out. No, it's about perfecting your craft. Trying things out takes place in training camp. All right, guys? Like, let's be responsible here, okay? Excuse me, guys. My apologies. Realistically speaking, when you're playing amongst some of the other best players in the world at any given time, you don't really have time to see if something works or doesn't. What you have time to do is be successful or not be successful, all right? Carolina is 0-6. They're not successful right now, okay? The Miami Dolphins are 5-1. They are successful right now. You see how that works? It all starts in training camp. Starts off the field. Like, it not on Sundays. This starts on Monday when you come in and you have to do, freaking how many hours of film study. Like, personally, now, I enjoyed film study. playing football. Like, I'm the first one. I'm a nerd, guys. Yes. Go ahead and put them on. I'm going to break this tape down. Let's see what they do. Let's see what they don't do. Let's see what they do well. Let's see what they don't do well, right? Let's see it all. And that is the mark of a great player. Now, the whole team has to buy into that process, right? So it's the same thing here with the NBA, that I feel that these teams, the way that they're playing now, are perhaps going to be the way they played during the regular season. With that being said, the Heat are arriving at a 2-3 record so far in the preseason. They lost their last game to the Rockets. That score was a 110-104 ball game. They're 1-3 in the last 4 games. So, not a really good showing when you come off of a win and you just start dropping games left and right out of nowhere. We'll have to see what happens in the regular season for Miami. I think Miami's going to look a lot better during the regular season, but right now, probably just a rough patch. We'll see if they can get back on the ball in the next game against the Pistons. That Pistons season is going to be arriving at 2-2 record. That game is going to take place Wednesday, October 25th, 7:30 p.m. So if you're looking for some NBA basketball to watch featuring a team from Florida, Miami will be playing on that Wednesday, October 25th, 7:30 slot time. So get ready for that, guys. Now, as far as the game against the Rockets are 4-1 in the preseason. They're playing really good basketball. So, they're just showing that they're deep and that they have good players, all over the place, realistically speaking. And especially when you look at the fact that, like I said, this preseason is going to feature a lot more young talent than in recent preseasons. Man, the NBA draft was pretty stacked this past year. And if you haven't seen that already, I definitely invite you to watch any one of those teams that drafted within the top 5, because all of those players are going off right now. Of course, Victor Wembanyama is going to be top on that list over there, playing for the Spurs. But you guys get what I'm saying. A lot of young talent to look at on the court this year. Can't wait to see how it evolves, especially with all the old heads still running around. KD, LeBron, AD, Steph Curry, all those boys. So, like I said, going to be an exciting year. Preseason, nothing more than just a precursor to what's going to happen in the regular season. So I'm looking forward to seeing what all of these teams can do. Now, the Magic, on the other hand, they're 2-1 in the preseason, or my apologies, 2-1 in the preseason. They just lost a game. That game was to the Pelicans, I believe it was. That was the first loss of the preseason for them. So, next they're going to be visiting the Rockets. That Rockets team, as I mentioned before, seeing a 4-1 record right now, playing good basketball in the preseason. That game's also going to be Wednesday, October 25th, 7 p.m. So, both teams in Florida going to be playing on Wednesday within 30 minutes of each other, so you'll be able to get a little flick back and forth action if you want to check out both of these teams. Just understand that Orlando's going to be a lot younger than Miami is. Miami's going to boast some of those old heads that we were talking about before, Jimmy Butler, and a few other guys on that team, but you get what I'm saying. Like, there's going to be a lot of young players playing on Orlando, a lot of veteran players playing in Miami. So go check those 2 games out, guys. The following game for the Orlando Magic is going to take place against the Trailblazers. That team is 0-3 in the preseason. Definitely not looking the part. They had so many things change in the offseason for them. And because of that, this team looks different, looks completely brand new. And that means they got to put all the pieces together. They got to start figuring out how to play basketball as a team, as a unit. And when they do, perhaps they'll be a good team. But for the time being, obviously, with all the changes that took place during the offseason, this team's going to have a lot of rebuilding to do. That game, the Magic Trailblazers game, is going to take place Friday, October 27th. That'll be 2 days directly after the game against the Rockets. That's why I'm mentioning it, just because, I won't be seeing you guys until after, or talking to you guys, I should say, until after that game. So just be prepared if you're going to be checking out Orlando Magic basketball, that the Trailblazers game will be 2 days right after the Pistons game. There hasn't been too many games played by the Magic in comparison to some of these other teams. Of course, as you can see, the Magic with a 2-1 record, and you have the Heat with a 2-3 record, So that's going to pick up as we continue to move in and get closer to the season, which is starting on a Tuesday. So be prepared for that as well, guys. First game is going to start on Tuesday. And I mentioned before the Trailblazers game was going to be October 27th. The game is going to be at 10 p.m. Not your usual early 7, 8 o'clock p.m. start time for those games. So be prepared for that as well, guys. Let's go ahead and get to our last break of the evening. And when I get back, we'll go ahead and discuss what's going on in the NHL. And then I'll touch up on what took place there at UFC 294, guys. Keep it locked here. My name is Corey Pujols. I am your host for Palm Tree Sports Radio. And as always, this is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's going on, football fans? This is me, your boy Larry B, inviting you to join myself, Callum Reynolds, Mike Pat, and John Felipe for one of the most electrifying football shows you have ever heard.
Three and Out, right here at IE Sports Radio. Recap of the week before, a preview of what's to come, and of course, 3 hardcore head-to-head primetime face-offs each week. You don't want to miss it.
Yes, sir. That is the man, the myth, the legend, Larry B. out there. Shout out Larry B. Love what you do, brother. Really appreciate you every week doing this, having this opportunity here at IE Sports Radio. But welcome back to Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pools, your host, and as always, it is brought to you and powered by the illustrious IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, guys. Let's go ahead and get into the last bit of what I have to talk to you guys about today. As I mentioned before, today would be most likely a short show, just due to the fact that a lot of things are still getting into the swing of the season. But for any of you who are watching football right now, I am currently watching the 17th ranked Tennessee Volunteers take on the the 12th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. Guys, good SEC East versus West ball game. Tennessee was controlling the game early in the first half. Second half, Alabama storming back 27-20 Alabama. So, bunch of big games on this week. Penn State, Ohio State. Didn't really live up to the billing. Ohio State beat Penn State. Oh, I can't stand Ohio State. But Penn State, back to the drawing board. You go 1-8 in the last 9 against Ohio State. Gotta fix that, guys. Gotta fix that. Anyway, just in case you guys were watching anything, there's a couple fillers out there. Let me know what you're watching in the comments, guys. In any case, let's go ahead and talk NHL. Let's talk hockey, guys. Bolts coming in, had a decent preseason, starting the regular season, about ready to get things on the way, playing the Maple Leafs tonight, 7 p.m. All right, you guys looking for hockey tonight? No UFC fight night. Might as well check out the Bolts. Go see what this playoff bound team has been doing. Here in Tampa, we're extremely proud of our Bolts. It's not something that you think would be as casual as it is, but especially because we're in the South, right? Now, normally northern states playing good hockey. Down here, we play some hockey, guys. We play damn good hockey. So, love the Bolts. Love what they're able to do right now. Can't wait to see them pull out this win tonight against the Maple Leafs. Both teams arriving at 2-2 record. Maple Leafs, no draws. Bolts, 1 draw. So, that'll probably be what's separating the two teams. As far as record is concerned, other than that, everything strictly the exact same, 2-2. This game is a renewal of the playoff rivalry that took place last year. Actually, over the last 2 years, we've had to see the Maple Leafs. So, it was hard-fought games, always against the Maple Leafs. Never an easy team to go in and beat. So, this is going to be a renewal of that first game of the season that we're going to be playing the Maple Leafs. So, looking forward to that. Bolts just get the win. Following game is going to be played Tuesday, October 24th, 7 p.m. That's going to be against the Hurricanes. Hurricanes, not as big a deal, I don't think, for us as the Maple Leafs for obvious reasons. Looking forward to seeing that game as well. But Tuesday, it's also the start of the NBA season, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that is. So, gonna have to pick and choose what you're gonna decide to watch there. But obviously, Bolts hockey, just big deal here in the South. Looking forward to seeing what's going on once we start seeing the other teams, the other pound-for-pound teams in the league. So, early, in the hockey season right now, it's going to take some time to develop. But once it does, like I said, I look forward to seeing a lot of good games, especially with the Bolts playing as well as they've been playing the last 3-4 years. So, go Bolts. Love what you guys are doing here. Can't wait to see the next game. And one of these days I'm gonna find myself going to one. That's gonna be in order at some point soon because man, we really throw down for these hockey games. So go Bolts, go Bolts. Love you guys. UCF close but no cigar yet in conference play. That game was pretty wild. Oklahoma, for those of you who were watching college football today, Oklahoma, came into this game looking to, kind of walk through UCF. UCF gave them everything they could handle, 31-29. Ball game there by Oklahoma. Victorious there at the end of that game. Good job, Oklahoma. Looking forward to seeing them and Texas join the SEC next year. Going to be a hell of a conference once the Red River rivalry hits the SEC. Man, what a legendary game to have, too, in the SEC. Super excited about that, guys. Can't wait to see what happens there. Now then, today we had UFC 294. UFC 294 was supposed to be something that turned into something else, right? So it was supposed to be Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira. That fight got snubbed as Charles Oliveira pulled out, I believe, due to injury. And then there was supposed to be Khamzat Chimaev versus Paulo Costa. Instead, it turned into Khamzat Chimaev versus Kamaru Usman. We'll talk about both of those two fights real quick. Obviously, the two guys that I want to win lost those fights. This fight card was in Abu Dhabi, so that's why I started so early, guys, for those of you who did not watch it. But Khamzat Chimaev beats Kamaru Usman via unanimous decision. Now, obviously, nobody was really expecting Usman to really come in and win on 11 days' notice because, again, he's took the fight on 11 days' notice. 11 days is not any way to get prepared for anybody, but knowing Kamaru Usman, he just doesn't run from a challenge. He was looking for a fight. Probably a great fight. I'm sure he wish he could have it back. I think with a good set of preparation, he could have been a better fighter for that occasion against Khamzat, but Khamzat improves to 13-0 by defeating Kamaru Usman. So congratulations to Khamzat Chimaev, who looks to be pretty much the favorite at #1 contender right now at this point, with what he's been able to do in creating wins for himself inside the octagon at 170 and 185. Usman, on the other hand, going back to the drawing board, gonna have to see what happens for him down there at welterweight. Gonna be questionable. 20-4 record stands where he's at. Still one of the better fighters in the world, but obviously he's gonna have to get back into the win column. He's lost 3 fights, actually, if I'm not mistaken. So, Kamaru Usman, good luck to you, my friend. Khamzat Chimaev, congratulations on the big win against Kamaru. What a statement win. Biggest win of his UFC career up to this point. So, looking forward to see what happens next with him. In the main event, heartbreaking as always. For those of you who do not know, I am a huge Alexander Volkanovski fan who stepped into the lightweight category to cover for Charles Oliveira, who missed the fight, of course. As I mentioned, I believe due to injury. Unfortunately, this fight did not go anywhere near as planned. I was hoping Volkanovski would be able to avenge his loss in the first matchup. He was unable to do so. This fight coming to an end via first round KO. You heard that right. Islam Makhachev knocked out Volkanovski in the first round. Absolutely unbelievable. Definitely what I didn't see coming. Definitely none of us saw this coming, I don't think. Especially from such a guy who wrestles as much as he does. He decided to stand up on the feet, and it worked out to his advantage. So congratulations, Islam Makhachev. The guys out there in Dagestan, there's some hard guys to beat. All right, and that's shown itself here now in the form of Makhachev handing Volkanovski his second loss inside the octagon in the last year. Unbelievable, like I said, just complete domination there by Makhachev in the first round, able to land the shot, put Volkanovski out. The record now improves to 25-1 for Makhachev, who's closing in on an unprecedented reign here at lightweight with consecutive victories in so many different areas. So again, congratulations to him. Volkanovski, back to the drawing board. Poppy, let's see what you're able to figure out. You're still the 145 kingpin of the world. That may not change anytime soon. 26-3 is his record, still a first ballot UFC Hall of Famer. We'll see what he's able to do to put his career back in the winning path, but until then, good luck, Vault. Go heal. Go get, set up. He took the fight on short notice as well. So, hats off to those guys for being able to pick up those fights and still turn UFC 294 into a worthwhile card for those of you who watched. So, that's it for us today here at Palm Tree Sports Radio, guys. I don't have any other information for you, but next week I will have a whole slew of new information for you guys as we talk about what took place here late Saturday afternoon with the college football games and the Sunday afternoon all the way to Sunday night tomorrow when the Finns take on the Eagles. I should be watching that game, you guys, so I'll definitely be able to give you a first account of what took place. Thank you for joining me here on Palm Tree Sports Radio. I really appreciate you guys. Spend time with your family. Enjoy your free time, guys. For those of you who don't work on the weekend, for those of you who do work on the weekend, please be safe. And we appreciate everything that you guys do. Pray, guys. Stay close to your family. Enjoy what you have right now while you have it, because the world's in such chaos and turmoil right now. And it scares me just to think that, we could just as well end up in a situation like any other thing that's going on take place here in the world. You choose where, what dilemma we're talking about, but you get what I'm saying. So spend time with your loved ones. Don't waste time, guys. Make every moment count, all right? I'm about to do that later this evening myself. I'm going to be spending time with my family, so I'm looking forward to being able to do that. Thank you guys again, like I said, for joining me here on Palm Tree Sports Radio. I really appreciate it. My name has been Corey Pujols, your host for Palm Tree Sports Radio. Catch us same time, same place next week, Saturday, 6 p.m. It'll be me right here giving you the information. Everything coming out of Sunshine State. Florida, baby, stand up. Go Bucks, go Canes, go Dolphins, go Jags. All those games coming up. Go Bolts, go Miami, go Magic. See you guys next week. Peace.